be working on the content aware lesson wheat field. And when you download from here, click, it's going to look like this, glorious in the sunshine wheat field. I've already copied the layer for you, but go ahead and lock it. And then here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be removing this person from the wheat field and filling it so it's just all blank wheat. And then you are going to put something funny in the wheat field. I don't know if I have examples. I don't, but there's been some good ones. So be thinking about what can go here in the wheat field. So normally I use the quick selection tool over here. It is, it's behind the magic wand. It looks like a little paintbrush. And what the quick selection tool does is it based on pixel color kind of knows like what you're trying to grab. And it does a pretty good job in some areas and then some areas not. It always takes a little bit of work. Like I can hover it around here and then, oh wait, it got some stuff I don't want. So I switch to minus and kind of, it'll snap to the edges of things. It's definitely better than trying to do it by myself. But anytime you're working with the selection tool and you decide you don't want that selection, Control D to deselect. We're going to try this new tool that Photoshop launched with the newest version, and it's called the Object Selection Tool. And what's awesome about it is that it's so smart. All you have to do is draw a box around the offensive pixels, the stuff you don't want. Give it a second. Prepare to be amazed. Okay, it shouldn't take that long. But look what it did. It snapped a box around her. I had to work a lot less harder. Now, if I want to add to it, I'm guessing that's what this is. Yeah, so you just keep drawing little boxes around and it'll get more of the areas. It's probably better to grab more than you need. It just missed a little bit of hair down here, but it did a pretty darn good job. So again, that's this little thing here if it misses some things that you need. Okay, so she is selected. She's what we want to change. So remember in Photoshop, you always got to select something first. And if I just delete her, then you've got a hole, and that is not what we want. So Control Z. I have my marching ants. We're going to be going up to Edit and Fill. So Edit, Fill. And then if your content doesn't say content aware, change it to that. So at this point, we could change it in with, fill it in with a solid color or anything we wanted to do, but we want content aware. And what that's doing is telling Photoshop, fill this area in with all the stuff that's around it. Ta-da! She's gone. Control D to deselect, and you'll see this kind of like ghostly outline of her. At that point, you can kind of just fudge the pixels around the outside edge with your blend tool and kind of make her go in. I'm going to Control Z though. It's like normally the old way, Control Select, Modify. So if we go to Select and Modify and I change or expand the selection, I'm going to go all the way by 5 pixels. It makes it 5 pixels wider. Image, excuse me, Edit, Fill, Content Aware. Much better. Control D. So because the selection was such a good selection, like it was literally right to the edge of her, it had that kind of weird shaded look. So add that select, modify, and then expand, and that will really help. Okay, so now we've got this blank canvas, blank field for you to put something weird in. So I am going to go find something. To make your life easier when you're searching for a picture, here's a couple tips. You guys are going to come up with way better stuff. The Stinky Poo Poo Monkey was really popular last semester. So you go to images and choose one with a white background, because that's going to be super easy to cut out if you can find that. So here's a couple of tips. When you're using pictures off the internet, you should be using royalty-free pictures. So I have a couple sites for that, but for something like a little lesson, who cares? But tools, if you go to size and choose large, and if you go to color and choose transparent, then you're going to get all these with the white background, which will make it easier to get out of there. So I'm going to choose this guy. That's kind of what I was picturing. I right click to copy it. And then I hover back over to Photoshop and I Control V to paste it. Bang. That's a high resolution image. It's really high quality. So I'm just going to shrink it till it fits in the window. And I hit check mark, and now it's part of the file. And then the tool that's going to work best here is I have all black pixels that I just quickly want to get rid of. So instead of the object selection tool or the quick selection tool, I use the magic wand tool. Magic wand selects by pixel color. I click where it's black. I hit delete on the keyboard. Done. Control D to deselect. And then I have my little fish. If I get in there and get real picky about it, which I want you to start doing, you can use the magic wand. I'm going to click on something else that's black and kind of keep hitting delete in some of these smaller areas, and it'll do the work for you. And then the other tool that I use here, Control Z to back up, is the blur tool. So that looks pretty good, but I'm going to go around with the blur tool. Control D to deselect. Make sure you don't have any pixels selected, and just kind of quickly go around. I have my strength turned up to 100. I'm going to bump it down just a little. We just want a slight blur. So I can get a couple of these now. Maybe I make them different sizes. Tilt them a little. If I really wanted to get fancy, I could maybe get a couple different kinds of fish to make it look cool. So that's all you have to do. If you want to do something funny, you can add a new layer, which I'm going to do. And I'm going to grab a paintbrush. The paintbrush is white right now. I'm going to change it to black. And I want my opacity of my brush to be really low. I'm going to add like a little cast shadow here. Make it look like ooh, that doesn't look like he's floating. Let's use a soft edge brush and make it really transparent. Super. I'll give him a little cast shadow there. You know, could be fun. All right, so that is the tools, just to review, that we learned are we learned about object selection tool, we learned about the quick selection tool, and we learned about the magic wand tool, pixel color, shape, and super easy shape. We learned about how when you have something selected, you can go to select and modify and expand or contract your selection. And then we also learned about edit, fill, content aware. Okay, Control D to deselect. When you are done, you just take a snip of it. Remember, I can't grade a Photoshop file. So just take a quick snip, save it, and then turn it in on the assignment right here. Thank you so much.